I don't want to be stuck in doing admin operational tasks when I can actually hire better systems to take care of that for me. In this economy, the people who win won't be the ones working the hardest anymore. So let me be honest with you. About 10 years ago, I thought that the way you grow a business is by just hiring more people and getting more clients, hire more tasks, hire more problems. But then I realized something. That model doesn't scale when you truly think about it. There was a time where businesses would just hire people regardless of whether they were loss making or not. And obviously they could because they had external capital to support that, mostly from VC investors. But the problem with this model is that it's not really scalable when you think about it, because the minute the VC money runs dry, which we've seen with a number of startups, the growth of the business collapses and eventually that business shuts down. So this model, when you truly think about it, it's not sustainable and it doesn't really work anymore, because also the more people you add, the more complexity you create. And at some point, you're not building a business anymore. You're just managing chaos funded by VC investors, essentially. Quick disclaimer before we go any further. This video is for education and informational purposes only and shouldn't be considered business or financial advice. I'm just sharing what's been working for me in the past. You have to remember that. A while back, I hit a point where everything felt slower, more moving parts, more back and forth, more time spent managing instead of building. And that's something I truly hate. If you've been tuning into the channel, you know I constantly speak about you as a business owner need to move away from the operations of your business as soon as possible. So, to nobody's surprise, I had a decision to make. Do I keep hiring or do I rethink how I'm operating? That's when I started asking different questions. Not who do I need to hire, but what systems do I actually need? And this is where things started changing for me, because obviously I wasn't blessed with having VC capital for my media company. So I needed to ensure that we used the revenue within my business to hire appropriately so that we could obviously still remain somewhat profitable while growing at the same time, which is obviously very different from the examples I gave earlier where these businesses were just relying on VC capital in order to hire. That's just complete chaos. So what I'm talking about here is slightly different. And I think this is the proper way you should go about scaling your business, making sure you hire the right people or hire the right systems in my case, and also make sure that you remain profitable. So I decided instead of hiring more people every time I needed help, I started looking at systems, which is what I just mentioned. That's how I came across Sintra AI. And what stood out for me, it was how practical it truly was. Let me show you how exactly I used it. First on the list is Buddy. This is what I use for handling repetitive tasks. Things like organizing workflows, handling simple operations, keeping things moving. Instead of me doing it manually, Buddy helps take that load off completely from my perspective. Then there's a Millie. She is extremely good when it comes to data and insights. This is more about understanding what's going on, looking at numbers, identifying patterns, helping me think through decisions, not replacing thinking, just supporting it with better information. Because one thing that I truly believe, and I've said this before, information is almost like money in 2026. The more information and data you can garnish, good quality data and information, the more opportunities you have. And we all know that more opportunities usually improves your odds of generating better revenue, and better revenue can lead to a better profit margin for your organization. And then there's a Vizzy, our content and output specialist. This is where things get really useful for me personally. Content output ideas, instead of starting from zero every time, I can move much faster, and I mean much faster. And this is the key thing I want you to understand. This doesn't replace thinking. It removes repetitive work, which means I can spend more time on strategy, decisions, growth, which is what I truly enjoy as a business owner. I don't want to be stuck in doing admin operational tasks when I can actually hire better systems to take care of that for me, which means that I can increase my revenue, as I mentioned, and of course, make sure that my profit margin go up at the same time as well, which is what I've done over the past 12 months. My business has dramatically changed over the past 12 months. We are making more money, we're spending less, and we're more efficient. Now, here's the shift that changed everything for me. Most people think if I want to grow, I need to do more. But that's not how it truly works in the long term, because effort doesn't automatically scale. Systems do. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Create better systems if you're serious about growing. And they aren't doing more work. They're building systems that do the work for them, moving yourself away from the operations of your business, like I always say. So here's how I think about it now. Working harder will only take you so far. At some point, you will hit a ceiling. Systems remove that ceiling from my perspective and my experience. Step 2, speed is better than perfection every single time. Most people are too slow, overthinking, over-editing, over-planning. Meanwhile, someone else is testing, learning, and improving faster and delivering the output. The third point is leverage over labor all the time. You don't win by doing everything yourself. You win by using tools, using systems, using leverage. Let me give you real practical examples once again. Even though I've given you some already, I want to be more specific about this practical example I'm going to give you. Before, many tasks everywhere, constant back and forth, time spent on low value work. That was truly me. Now, this is me. Systems handling repetitive work, faster execution, of course, more time for high level thinking. There's a reason why, if you look at my output in terms of just content side of things, we have shot up by more than 70% and the quality is much better. And that is because we have systems in place. And the biggest difference here is clarity, because when you're not buried in tasks, you can actually see what matters. So my job now is very simple. I oversee things, I approve things. I am not there on the operation side of any of my business anymore. I'm making a ton of money as a process of this, and that is how I like to run it. But let me be clear here. This isn't some shortcut. This isn't guaranteed resource. This doesn't magically grow your business, of course. You still need a good offer, of course, clear direction, consistency. But what it does is that it removes friction from any of my businesses, and it can potentially do the same for you. And here's the biggest thing I've learned. The people who struggle try to do everything themselves. The people who grow build systems that support them. It's a completely different way of thinking, once again, but you only get there with experience. So you can, of course, tune into my content, because I talk a lot about the importance of building systems, moving yourself away from the operations of your business as soon as possible. Especially now, it's more important than ever. In this economy, the people who win won't be the ones working the hardest anymore. No, no, no. They'll be the ones building the smartest systems, because systems can take the load off your back. Because the game isn't about effort anymore. It's about speed, efficiency, and leverage. So here's what I'm going to do for you. If you're in that stage where things feel slow or you're doing too much yourself, start looking at building a system for yourself. Try it once. That's where the real change happens. And that's where the real change happened for me. And if you feel like this is something that you definitely want to give a go today, check out the top link in my description. That will get you going with Sintra today and not tomorrow. So if this helped you, you know exactly what you need to do. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, and more importantly, tap the notification bell. I am rounding this video up now, and I want to say thank you once again for tuning into this video, and I'll see you on the next video, where we're of course going to be talking about more business, finance, and entrepreneurship as always.